Hey friends, welcome back to Skater Girl Handbook. My name is Kristen, and I spent the last couple days scouting the best spots to practice skateboarding as a beginner. I chose places that were all within 20 minutes of my house, so there should be at least a few in this list that are in your neighborhood too. Without further ado, let's start with number 10. Bringing up the caboose is the driveway. It scored points because of the easy access and smooth surface, but most driveways don't have a large area to practice on, have a slope, and others like mine are shared amongst neighbors. So while I saved myself from looky-loos and it was easy to just step outside and practice, I ended up in my neighbor's space quite often. Driveway is good if you have a long paved one, but if not, expect to just practice stepping on the board for short rides. Number 9 is path in the park. Much like the driveway, parks are pretty easy to get to, have a nice paved surface to practice on, but limited side-to-side space. Depending on what time of day or what your neighborhood is like, you also might encounter people just watching you. You'll be able to practice stepping on the board, balancing, and riding in a fairly straight line. 8 is alley. Initially, I thought this one would rank much higher on the list because of the reduced traffic and privacy. I was quickly proven wrong. Maybe it was the time of day, but there were kids playing in the alley and cars pulling in or out of their driveways. Additionally, the pavement was rough. There were a lot of cracks and pebbles. I ended up just practicing different stops as I couldn't ride very far without interruption. Number 7, tennis court. What I loved about the tennis court was the surface, soft and springy, so if you fall, the chance of injury is greatly reduced. But you do need to share it with people actually playing tennis. And it may be difficult to find a court that's open depending on the time of year. Since you have a small space to practice with, expect to mainly be working on perfecting those turns. Number 6 is basketball court, and it's nearly tied with tennis court. The only thing that gave it a competitive edge is I felt so less awkward skating here. No one was giving me any sort of side-eye or questioning looks for practicing. The basketball court I went to was next to a small skate park, so it was fun to watch people attempting some cool tricks without feeling like I was in the way. Right in the middle is the skate park. It scores points because of the ultra-smooth pavement for practice and is the ideal spot for skateboarding, but it can be super intimidating for beginners. Plus, depending on the skate park you go to, there may not be much room to practice the basics without needing to navigate around or over an obstacle. If you want to avoid the crowds, it's best to go in the early morning. Number 4 is actually where I end up skating the most, neighborhood streets. You may need to do a bit of hunting to find a street that has smooth pavement and doesn't have a lot of car traffic, but it's a great place to get the hang of just cruising for longer periods of time and practicing your turns. You'll need to watch out for cars, bicyclists, and pedestrians, but the nice thing is that nobody really minds if you're practicing here, as long as you're being safe. Okay, time for top 3. In third place, we have parking lots. What I love about parking lots, especially ones for businesses or schools after hours, is that you'll typically have wide areas to practice in, minimal car traffic, and privacy. Some parking lots may also have a slight decline, so you can start practicing with a bit of speed. I was able to practice a variety of skills without being in anyone's way. The only downside is that you may experience some rough pavement. In the second best slot, we have school grounds. Schools typically have wide spaces of smooth pavement meant for playing at recess and getting around the school. The exception here is that some schools don't allow any type of skating, so you'll need to be mindful of that, and you'll need to go on an evening or weekend to practice here. Otherwise, I was able to practice a variety of skills, including cruising, stopping, and turning. The other nice thing about school grounds is there's often sports practice happening outside of school hours, so you practicing here doesn't look out of place. At the top of my personal list is parking structures. Much like the parking lot and school grounds, there is ample space to practice on, and the pavement was even smoother. I was able to practice a variety of skills here. I was protected from the elements, and there weren't many people around. Parking structures for businesses are great on evenings and weekends. Just be mindful of any signs that say you can't skate there, and be polite if security asks you to leave. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this list, if you tried any of the spots, or if you have other recommendations for beginners to start skating at. I'll see you next time on Skater Girl Handbook.